Hi everybody, it's Doreen, and I'm back today with my final decorated mini album purse. What I used for decorating was my Cricut, and I used the following cartridges. I used the Wedding Marriage, the Forever Young, the Sweet Treats, and the Sentimentals cartridge. So let's get started and I'll show you what I did. Got a lot to show and I hope I can get it in 10 minutes. So here's my first page, and what I did was I cut out Sister Girl, and I cut that in 2 inches, and I'm not sure which cartridge I got this from, but I know it wasn't from one of the ones that I mentioned previously. And I used my Gypsy because I wanted to weld the letters together. If I remember what it is, I'll put it at the bottom. So I cut out this shoe at 2 inches, and I cut the black out, and then I cut the top of the shoe using my coordinations paper, and then I ran that through my Cuttlebug swirls folder, and then sanded it down just to bring out the color that was on the other side of the coordination paper. And then I added a little bling at the bottom. Then I made a lollipop flower, and I have a video where I showed these flowers before. And I used the Sizzix circle die number 2, and I added some bling in the middle. I also put some sequins back behind there, and I added a little feather. And I'll go over the charms at the end. So let's look at the other side of this. So this, I cut out the word shoes, which is from the Forever Young cartridge, and it's on page 54. I cut that at 1.5 inches, and I took the top of the word shoes and I ran it through my Swirl Cuttlebug folder. And then I cut out the shoes, and the shoes are also in the Forever Young cartridge, and they're on page 54 as well. And I cut those at 1.5 inches, and the top layer I ran through my Cuttlebug swirl folder. And then I rubber stamped, "A girl can never have too many shoes." And that is the truth. Okay, so let's look at the next page. Okay, so my next page, I cut out a pillow box at 5 inches from the Wedding Marriage cartridge, and then I took and ran it through my Cuttlebug using the swirl folder, and then I glimmer mist it with Sea Glass, Garden Fairy, and the Memory Mist Iridescent, and some iridescent gold. And then I took my Martha Stewart punch, and that one was the doily lace trim, and I ran that around the pillow box, and then I added a butterfly. And then at the bottom I stamped "Happy Birthday." And I'm actually going to have a gift inside here, and I'll show that at the end once I've showed all the pages from the mini album. So let's move on to the next side. Okay, on the other side of the pillow box page, I did a interactive 3D page, and what I've got is a folder that is like a gift card folder, and this was already cut out, and it's by 7 Gypsies. And I took that and I distressed it with my Stampin' Up! Sage Shadow ink pad, and then I cut out the sunglasses that's from the Forever Young cartridge at 2.5 inches, and that's on page 47. And then I took the top layer and I added some glossy accents to give it like a little shine, to look like a reflection. And then I added some stickles to make it look like diamonds on the end here. And then when you open this up, I have like a purse, and the purse is also in the Forever Young cartridge, and it's on page 55, and I cut that at 2 inches. And then I cut this umbrella, which is on page 44 of the Forever Young cartridge, and I cut that at 2 inches, and I sprayed the top layer with Glimmer Mist, the Forest Green and the Garden Fairy, and then I took some stickles and put it along the edge. And then I took this wooden flip-flops and just added a little bling in the middle, and I stamped Life's a Beach. So then I added some Velcro at the end to make a little closure. Okay, so now let's see if we can get this, split this around. Okay, my next one is I cut out some lace trim that has little rosebuds in the middle with pearls, and I added that. And then I cut out this flower, and this flower is from the Sweet Treats cartridge on page 50. I cut one at 2.5 inches, one at 2 1/4, and then one at 2 inches. And I layered the 3 together and added a little bling in the middle. And I bent the petals back. But what I did before I put this together was I put some triple thick brush-on glaze on each layer to make the paper more pliable so it wouldn't tear. And then I added diamond stickles on the end, and I took a rubber stamp that's by Hero Arts. It's called Friend's Background, and it's really just the definition of a friend. Okay, and the next side, I call this my bling page. Okay, this one is also from the Forever Young cartridge, and I cut the model out at 3.5 inches, and it's on page 43. And then I took some burlap fabric that I had, and I covered it with Mod Podge, the hard coat. I let it dry overnight, and then I took my Cuttlebug and my scallop spellbinder die and cut that out. And then I Glimmer Misted with Sapphire and Memory Mist Iridescent, and I painted it also with some topaz, metallic blue topaz acrylic paint. And then I added a little purse charm. The gloves I cut 3 inches, and they're in the Forever Young cartridge on page 45. And then I just added some sequins and a little bling. And then I added a Prima flower with a rhinestone brad. And the Prima flower actually came that color. It's real sparkly and pretty. Okay, so let's move on. Actually, this should be called my bling page. On this one, what I did was, and this is also from the Forever Young cartridge, I cut the word bling, which is on page 60, 2 inches, and I embossed it with some silver fire opal embossing powder. And then for the necklace and the bracelet and the earrings, I cut each one of those at 2 inches. And I then took and added a rhinestone in the center of the necklace, the bracelet, and I put it on the end of the little earrings. And then for the necklace and the bracelet, I took some glossy accent and ran it around the rhinestone, and then I added some Martha Stewart micro beads.